So one thing that we know, just having been in this industry for a long time, is that the safety capabilities and applications within Maximo aren't broadly used. And what we're seeing is the reasons that they weren't used historically are going out the door. So starting with the pandemic and now simply age and the advent of AI and other technology moving in, we're seeing our boomer workforce in that general age range retiring. And the reason a lot of things aren't implemented more deeply within Maximo is because during initial implementations, the workforce had all of that legacy knowledge in their head and all of that tribal knowledge. They knew it all. It was within their group. And so they looked at the technology as a tool to help schedule and track things. They didn't look at it as a tool that was going to help them get their job done, so to speak. But when we fast forward today and we look at where we are, we're in a situation where across the US, Europe, we are facing a challenge of taking large numbers of entry-level people, the apprentice, if you will, and doing our best to rapidly enable them to do the jobs that the mentors were doing, and they were doing it out of their head. And every opportunity we have to give them a crutch or some assistance we need to take. And in this case, the safety applications are significant. It's not always intuitive when we are in an unsafe position in an industrial plant. And there are lots of factors at play. It's not just our obvious, electrical, plumbing, hot water, slippery floor stuff. There are lots of other types of chemicals and gases. There are, there are moving parts. There are numerous things. And without having a tremendous amount, that decade plus of knowledge of how a particular asset, piece of equipment operates, how the electrical system is set up, and all of this, we need procedures. And the Maximo safety procedures are lockouts and tagouts, are hazards and precautions. That's what they're built for. And implementing those and attaching those to those job plans when we're going to work are critical to keep those younger people, the newer people, the apprentices, if you will, safe in the process. So all of the capability, all of those fields and the records are available there in Maximo. We got to fill them out. And when we look at the most common things that we run into, there are very common slip and fall. These are huge. And at the end of the day, when you have a technician who didn't realize when they pulled a cover off of something that an oily type substance was going to come out, and they slip and they fall and they're out for the rest of the day or a couple of days, God forbid they break their arm or something and they're out for weeks. That's a tremendous impact to the capacity of most maintenance organizations. It matters. That person was there for a reason, them being gone matters. When we look at more significant scenarios, we hear about a lot of, these are generally minor safety incidents, but exposure to steam is another common one. Not realizing that a system is under pressure still, and they have not safely relieved the pressure, and so they have a steam burn. Other ones are caustic chemicals that are not obviously caustic, and things that are just wafting up in the air. from off of some type of liquid. These are all things that if we're using Maximo, if we set up the data in Maximo, the mobile device is going to be talking to us. It's going to be warning us about this. It's going to be at the top line on the work order. We're going to have to complete those lockout, tagout procedures, all of this, check all of those off before it lets us even get into the real work. So the technology's there, the capability is there, and the information we know is out there. And now, man, it's on the web. It's probably, one quick Google search away from us, but we need to get it into the system. We needed to get it attached to the asset, to the job plan, so that we keep our people safe out there. And of course, the absolute worst case scenario is when we don't lock out, tag out on our electrical and someone gets hurt. And there are a couple reasons this happens. It's not usually that they didn't try to do it. They usually attempt. We oftentimes see scenarios where there are multiple of the same type of asset lined up in a row, and they've gone and locked out or tagged out the wrong panel, right? Or they didn't have a lock, so they turned it off, but they didn't actually lock it out or tag it out. Someone else, while they're working, thinks, oh, that's supposed to be on, and they turn it on. And so, the safety procedures exist for a reason, and getting those in front of people so they realize the criticality and importance, and it's actually enforced by the application, not letting them move on to the work portion until they have signed off and said they've done it, is, we find, highly successful. People don't want to sign off and say that they performed safety work in their plant that they didn't actually perform, because they know they become liable. So it's not only protecting the workers, it's protecting the organization and protecting in the long term the operations. So love to hear your thoughts on this, questions. And if you haven't taken this on yet and you're thinking about it, but you're struggling to figure out where to start, reach out, talk to us. We get it. It can be deep water, and figuring out where to start can be challenging, but these are things that we understand and we're happy to help you solve. Get ready with Banetti. Like, subscribe.